Alright guys, we are at day 2 at NC Bike with Evolve GT. This is our first practice weekend with the new R6. So far it's going great. Yesterday was just a cold day and I was focusing on new tires, Dunlops, which I'm running, which I'll tell you guys more about, and especially in the cold. And then also just the new R6, getting some tweaks, getting some things tightened up that came loose. Today's going to be a first day of actually trying to hold some pace with the bike, get ready for next weekend at CMP for CCS. I'm going to bring you guys along the ride. You got a front cam, I got a rear cam, and hopefully it'll be a good day. So, catch you guys out there. What is up, guys? So, I'm basically just gonna show you some hot laps from Sunday, which is the second day on the R6. I really felt dialed in. By middle of the day, I was cooking. Bike felt great, tires felt great, the Dunlop slicks were amazing, even in the cool temps. I did end up having a spill, so I will talk about that in a little bit. You can skip forward if you want to see that. But yeah, I'm just going to show you maybe a couple hot laps at NC Bike. We was running a pretty good time, sub 140s on a brand new bike to me and brand new tires to me. So I was pretty happy with that. Alright guys, so I'm just going to do a little audio talk over this. First off, here's Mario, racing buddy of mine who was doing the pit, whatever it is, for sending people out, crew chief, and he did an amazing job today, that whole weekend, so shout out to him. So he was just letting me do a practice start there. I was getting used to launching the 06. Still didn't get the clutch handle pretty well, but going into turn 1, I actually really like turn 1 here. You can dig deep. I like to apex a little bit earlier. A little bumpy here on the track, but overall just kind of learning to navigate that traffic a little bit. Obviously it wasn't as smooth through there. This is the Chicane on NC Bike, if you've never run the Chicane. And throughout the day I got a lot better at it and get my timing right. Basically you run it wide and then you dip in for that. Still, this is where I lost time all weekend. I found myself just sitting on the throttle, and not carrying any speed into this back, and then you sit on the throttle here and you're not bringing brakes anywhere into the corner. But you can pick up a lot of speed for this back end. Again, finding myself sitting on the throttle, but overall just trying to get the bike dialed in. And I'm going to try and find a hot lap for you guys now after breaking the turn 1 a little later on. And you can see it ran a little wide here, but cut it in real nice. Alright, so here now we're coming back down the main straight, and we're going down and getting up to the top of 6th gear. And you're going to see a Ducati come up on my left in the braking zone. I probably could have braked a little bit less going into turn 1, but I was getting some brake fade, so I was going a little bit more conservative. But I held my line, which kept me on the inside of him for the next turn, which kept him from getting around me, and was able to really put some distance between me and him. I really enjoyed this lap. This lap was a pretty good lap for me because I was just really determined on not letting that guy on that big Ducati pass me. So I was carrying a decent amount of pace. Again, still could have carried more brake into that turn, which means I wasn't going as fast. Smooth this out a little bit. And didn't really know what I wanted to do here because there was going to be a lot of people going through the chicane and not everybody was really quick through there. And in the group I'm in, you can't stake inside pass leading into the turn, so like there was an opening I could have easily taken, but obviously it didn't. So a little traffic here, but I know where I'm going to make my pass, so I'm just getting ready. I'm going to shoot wide, and then we'll cut in just get on the outside of these guys for this penultimate turn of the track. The guys next to me kind of swerving back and forth, which is why you're hearing me going on and off the throttle. But these guys blacked me up a little bit, and then when I was coming in, this guy kind of is going to end up pitting out, I believe, on the right. Yeah. So there's my buddy Phil in the all-white helmet that just passed me, and I was really determined on catching that guy, do some laps with him. So both kind of ran a little wide. Again, I really like sticking that inside line on this turn, but he tipped in, so I had to give it to him. Missed that apex, but I was just trying to see where I could set up a clean pass on these guys, because obviously the passing regulations, you can see I'm a little all over the place, but that's just me trying to figure out where I want to stick the pass within the regulations that they allow. So now I'm going to shoot around the outside of them here, set up before we tip over, and then drive out to the outside to then tip into that apex. So this time around is when I'm going to come across some track exit traffic. You kind of buff wide there, which is why I kind of checked up. So coming up here on the final turn, my buddy Phil's going to pass me because there's going to be a guy pitting out that just kind of gets in my lane of traffic. Not his fault, just happened to be... not this one. So again, just trying to, there's the Panigale again. This time he got the pass in on turn one and made a stick. So my main goal was just to get by him as soon as possible. I don't do it here. I'm pretty sure the next couple turns, I would have just tipped in the inside right here. Obviously just left it wide open, but you can't at this track. I mean, at the group I'm riding in. So I stick the inside pass here before he tipped in. So obviously, I have a lot to do with cleaning up my lines. I probably have to really focus on setting up those passes. It's kind of hard to set with racing, you pass anywhere you want basically, but with Evolve, the group I'm in, I can't do inside passes leading to the corner. So it requires a little bit more mental focus to pick your line, adjust your braking and your throttle just so that you can stick the pass correctly. But that's good because that just makes me focus on new ways to pass people, but also being clean about it. Obviously, you can see I'm swerving a little bit in my line. Definitely need to be cleaner there. I lose a lot of time that way. Next video is going to be me going into turn 5. I call it false neutral. That's the crash that happens. You're going to hear a bunch of grinding and popping, and so I've never caught a false neutral, so I tried pulling the clutch, slowing down the bike to the outside, and all of a sudden, I think just the bike kicked into gear. And even though I think just the momentum made me grab a little too much front brake is what I think happened. Lost the front end, but then it caught and tossed me over the front. I'm fine. Bike took some damage, but I'll just let you guys watch the video and see what happened. This actually ended up happening after I was talked to about my passing, so they told me to cool it. So I was kind of riding a little bit more chill, and I guess I just didn't click that bike into gear as aggressively as I usually did, which caused that false neutral. So as you guys saw, bike went down, I went down. I was able to slow it down. At the time, I didn't know it was a false neutral. I'd never gotten one before, so I wasn't sure what that sounded like. So I thought it was either false neutral. I thought it was maybe the timing chain hopped the tooth and the valves were smacking the piston. So got the bike home back. Had a weird tick when I got back. So that was kind of disturbing to the pits. So then I got back home eventually after a long drive of being sore. And basically ran a compression test, everything came back 100% fine. And then turns out my buddy sent, after I got through the video footage, I was like, that sounds a lot like gears grinding. So I sent it to my buddy, and he had an identical video where he got a false neutral. And what happened was, since the bike didn't get any revs, but he was kind of downshifting into a high rev zone, the bike just dumped a bunch of fuel and didn't get the revs it was gonna get. So it ended up fouling all the plugs, and the bike wouldn't run right. So I threw some plugs in, and the R6 started right back up, but perfectly no issues back home. So fiberglass repaired the bodywork, new clutch lever, retorqued everything down, loosened all the bolts up, let the bike sit, retorqued it down, straightened it out. It's not the first time I've been down, so gear's fine other than the helmet. Had to replace the helmet, so that's coming in soon. I'm actually really stoked about the new helmet. But yeah, obviously can't make it to CMP this video. I'm actually making this video right now at CMP Racing for CCS is going on, unfortunately. But I'm just going to chalk it up to as if I did show up and just didn't do well enough in the class to get any points. And I'll be at NJMP CCS in 2 weeks. And the goal is still to kick ass and take names and do really well. But yeah, I can't wait to get more content out for you guys. Hopefully the next video is me racing and me talking about the gear I'm using and the tires, because the bike and the tires were sublime this weekend. Just accidents happen. That's kind of track life. That's racing life. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to give tips on my lines, my riding, for the part of that, I'm always down to listen to hear what you guys say. I was still learning that bike a lot in that ride, and like kind of said, a lot of my lines had to adjust to make certain passes because the group I ride with doesn't allow inside pass going into the turn. But yeah, so I'll catch you guys next time. Joe and Twos.